Blue, the inside, go. We competing today.
Go. There you go.
We're moving.
This is Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh, presented by FanDuel.
Congratulations. Hey, hell of a week of work, and it paid off out there. Okay?
I'm so proud of everybody. I mean, it's been a hell of a year watching this damn game, but that's December football.
Family on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Hey.
What a joyous scene in the Jets locker room last week. They'll try to make it 2 in a row today against the Buccaneers. Coming up, we'll hear from head coach Robert Saleh. We'll check inside the film room with Brian Baldinger, and Ethan Greenberg's going to give us a snapshot of what's happening inside the AFC East. But we start, as always, with Bart Scott and Leger Douzable. Bart, if you had any questions what the Jets were made of, they removed any doubt last week.
I mean, you talk about being 20 players down, the character that this team showed, the fight and grit. And it wasn't pretty, but it never is. No game in the NFL is pretty. But they found a way to be productive. They found a way to put points on the board. And you talk about, Michael Slick, I guess we want to call him right now, with the R2, L2, X button, dive into the end zone, showed a lot of leadership. And it's an element that I know that Douzable's been harping on for a couple of weeks. Talking about him using his athleticism because he was allowing defenses to get away with playing coverages in which they didn't respect his mobility. He's not some big plotter like Tom Brady. He's not a guy that's going to sit in the pocket. He's actually a young athlete. So use those young legs when you have an opportunity to, one of the most high percentage plays in football is just a run because you don't have to throw the ball through the air.
Bart, giving dues props to start the new year. Leger, that's got to be music to your ears.
Oh, no question. And just to allude on what Bart was saying, right? You talk about 20 players missing, no head coach. Both of your starting guards are out. 3 of your 4 starting defensive linemen, your top 3 receivers, your top 2 safeties. What a gutsy performance by this young team. And you're talking about a team that's trying to build an identity. They went out there and fought hard, were able to run the ball effectively. And like Bart said, Zach Wilson used his legs when he needed to, and that's something I had been harping on for weeks. I mean, this guy was used multiple times in the red zone at BYU just for his legs and his athleticism, and he was able to do that. Good job by Zach Wilson, not having gaudy numbers passing the ball, but knowing where to go with the football, being efficient, and I really like how he played on some pivotal 3rd and 4th downs.
I'm sorry, dudes, but you're talking about him not having gaudy numbers passing the ball.
Yeah.
That shows me maturity. Because it's not about him. It's not about putting up numbers. It's not about what it looks like. The goal of a quarterback is to win football games. Unlike head coaches, unlike receivers, unlike linebackers, quarterbacks get measured on wins. When we start talking about Hall of Fame, and I'm not trying to put him in the Hall of Fame, but when you see that, you talk about career wins. Head coaches and quarterback get judged on W's first, the other stats last. And he's starting to mature and says it's not about me being the main person, the leading man in the story and the narrative. It's about me doing whatever this team has to do. And we code word that with game manager. But sometimes you have to manage the game. Well, we never criticize Chris Paul for being a game manager. He's going to game manage himself all the way to the Hall of Fame. And that's what I equate a quarterback to. He's the point guard. You're just supposed to distribute, get productivity, and get the W. That's number one. He's starting to learn that.
4 rush touchdowns in 5 games for Jets rookie quarterback Zach Wilson. Coming up after the break, we'll go one-on-one with head coach Robert Saleh.
Now it's time to go inside the walls, brought to you by FanDuel.
What a wild week you had. How would you describe it?
Interesting, but thankfully, it's going to come to an end here soon, and we can get back to normal.
What was your thought process when you tested positive for COVID, personally and then professionally?
Personally, obviously, I just wanted to get myself into a place where I'm not where I can't affect anybody, and then professionally, obviously, just trying to do my best to get the staff in order, keep the team in order, and just to keep the wheels moving the best we could. And obviously, with Ron's assistance, I feel like it's gone pretty well.
So why did you pick Ron Middleton? Because a lot of times you see a head coach and they automatically go to either an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator, maybe the special teams coach.
You know, with Ron, he's been in the league for a long time. He played in the league. He's been in the Super Bowl as a player. He's coached in the league, so he's got a lot of respect on the staff, and he's got a lot of respect with the players, and you know, and obviously I hold him in very high regard. So he was a very natural selection at that spot.
What does it say about this team, this organization, the way the guys rallied together? 20 guys in health and safety protocols. Yourself, your quarterback's coach, Rob Calabrese.
You know, I think it speaks volumes to Joe Douglas, his staff, and the character that they brought into this locker room, and you know, to piece together the roster in the fashion that we had to over the course of the week, and then to the coaching staff to get these guys up to speed, and then to the players to go out there free of mind and just play as hard as they possibly could, to showcase that they belong, and that they're just because we're missing a few doesn't mean we're missing all. And you know, so I think it's a testament to everybody in the entire organization and the character that this team's not going to lay down for anybody, and we're going to continue to fight regardless of what people on the outside might think.
273 yards on the ground. That's an NFL high this season. How about the way the guys, despite missing a couple starters along that offensive line, and then losing Connor McGovern late in that game, we're still able to win the line of scrimmage and dominate on the ground.
Yeah, you know, and any time, like when the defense was up and they would cut to the sideline, and you'd see, you know, in the background, you'd see offensive linemen, right? I mean, you just see these guys having a blast. GVR especially, it looked like he was having the time of his life on Sunday. And when you run the ball, O-linemen love it. They just love it. They don't want to pass block. They don't want to sit in their stance and go one-on-one there. They want to run block. They want to move people. They want to create new lines of scrimmage. The running backs want to run the ball. They want to break tackles. You know, that's just, even receivers want to dig out some safeties, block down. I mean, they want to do everything. And so when you're running the ball, there's just this level of juice that takes place when, from the offensive standpoint, in terms of just the amount of fun and joy that they're having. And you could see it. I mean, we were opening up lanes. Michael Carter, he never gets tackled by the first guy. Tevin Coleman was hitting it hard, and just the overall group, it was really cool to see, because you could tell that they were having fun running the ball, and Mike LaFleur did a great job keeping his foot on the gas and making sure that he was calling those runs and getting over 30 runs, which was a goal of ours.
What is Zach Wilson going to see from his Todd Bowles coordinated defense, because he likes to bring that pressure?
Oh yeah, he's going to see fast, aggressive, detailed, sound. It's going to be one of the better defenses we've seen all season. And you know, and I know Todd Bowles is probably chomping at the bit with a rookie quarterback to mix in some coverages and try to create confusion for the young man, but it's going to be a great challenge.
And finally, you got any special feelings here with your final home game of the first season as head coach of the New York Jets, and the way this fan base has responded to you guys, knowing where you are in the process and watching an exciting group for the final time coming up here?
You know, it's been a roller coaster of a season, which we all kind of knew was going to happen, especially with our youth. You know, I couldn't be happier to be here. The fan base has been remarkable. Organization has been remarkable. The Johnson family has been remarkable. And we have a lot of opportunity ahead of us. Obviously, we still have these 2 games coming up, but we have a lot of exciting things that are going to happen this offseason to help us take that next step in the direction that we know we're going to take this organization. And really looking forward to every moment, from this very moment to that moment when we finally get to do what we're all achieve the goal that we've all set out to achieve.
Thanks, Coach, and we're looking forward to seeing you back on the sideline.
Thank you.
Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the New York Jets. Up next, we'll go inside the film room with Brian Baldinger, and Ethan Greenberg will preview Week 17 in the AFC East. Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by FanDuel.
Welcome back, Eric Allen, Leger Douzable, and Bart Scott. Leger, what did you think about the head coaching performance from Ron Middleton last week?
Yeah, you have to give a kudos to Ron Middleton. I believe before this game, he had only really ran a practice at the college level. So for him to be thrust into action with the head coach, Robert Saleh, going out for COVID, he got this young team ready, right? He didn't blink. This young team didn't blink. And you're talking about missing 20 players and a lot of those being starters on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball. This team went out there, fought hard, got a gutsy win. And you just have to, again, give a kudos to him because you talk about this team, young team trying to build an identity and really trusting the system. They went out there, trusted the system. New players coming off the street, they went out there and played well. So, kudos to Ron Middleton because that is a hard situation to be in.
Bart, something that Middleton said after the game has really struck with me. He said that a duck, when you see it on the surface of the water, looks like, hey, everything's easy, but there's a lot of work going on underneath the water. And he pointed to the organization, how much support he had. Doesn't that speak to everything that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh are trying to build here?
Well, when you talk about that, that's an old coach cliche, right? You talk about calm on water, but, busy underneath the water. And that's the things that you don't see. And so many people are having to get him prepared, for his coaching debut in short order. And when you're a coach, what you want is when those guys are looking into your eyes, and this is an intimidating thing, 53 grown men that understand that what football is all about, that's been performing at the high level, is do you have answers when I have questions? He had the answers. He managed the game, like a head coach is supposed to. And maybe, just maybe, he's got the attention of some people around the NFL. And, Saleh, credit to Saleh for putting a staff together where if he wasn't available, that they can do the job.
Well, Jay, before we get to Brian Baldinger, how about a quick New Year's resolution for the New York Jets?
EA, to me, it's consistency, right? We talk about this offense running for over 270 yards versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Can we get consistency from the run game? And then on defense, right? They did really well. I would say the first 3.5 quarters stopping the run, only gave up about 3.7 yards per carry until that big run from Trevor Lawrence at the end of the fourth quarter. So can they just be consistent these last two games as far as stopping the run? Because we saw it versus the New Orleans Saints too. They held them to under 4 yards a carry until their quarterback, Taysom Hill, had a big run in the fourth quarter. So it's all about finishing and consistency for this young group.
Speaking of consistency, let's get to Baldy, who's going to take a look at the defending Super Bowl champion, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Hey, thanks, EA. Today, I just want to go in the film room and take a look at the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady. The Jets will see Tom Brady and the Bucs this weekend, and if you let Tom Brady just stand on this little spot, like 5 yards behind the center, untouched, he'll make every throw. This 22-yard comeback to Antonio Brown against Stephon Gilmore couldn't be thrown any better. But if you can get him to move off the spot the way the New Orleans Saints did the week before when he was shut out for only the second time in his career, and you got him to move off that spot, however you do it, these kind of things can happen. But if you just let him sit back there, right, like he does right here, he'll find Cyril Grayson 62 yards down the field. He'll put it right on him. He probably won't miss. But if you can do this, the way Cam Jordan, number 94 of the Saints, comes around the corner here and makes a move. Now you get him to move, protecting the ball. Now, once he gets on the move, good things can happen to your defense, like it happens here. Jordan forces the fumble, and Marshawn Lattimore picks it up. If you let him just stay here, this is off play action right here to Ronald Jones. If you just let him stay here, read the defense, and make the throw, he's just that good. He's still that good. At whatever age he is. Like you'll find Gronk, Cameron Brate, it doesn't matter who's in the lineup. You got to move him off the spot. That's the key to beating Tom Brady.
This is the AFC East Roundup.
Taking a look around the AFC East, all 4 games in the division at the 1 o'clock hour. So let's start in Orchard Park, where the 9-6 Bills host the 7-8 Falcons, and Buffalo got its revenge against New England in Foxborough last weekend. Final score 33-21. The Bills now sitting atop the AFC East. and they hold the tiebreaker over the Pats because they have a 4-1 record in the division. New England has a 3-2 record in the AFC East, and Bills quarterback Josh Allen threw for 314 yards and 3 touchdowns last Sunday. Moving to Foxborough, the Patriots host the Jaguars, and the Patriots like to run the football. The Jets ran for an NFL high 273 yards against the Jaguars last Sunday at MetLife Stadium. But Patriots running back Damian Harris, he had 18 carries for 103 yards last weekend against Buffalo, and he was responsible for all 3 Patriots touchdowns last weekend. While rookie signal caller Mac Jones struggled, he only threw for 145 yards and 2 interceptions. Now let's head south to Nashville, where the Titans host the Dolphins. Miami is the only team in NFL history to have a 7-game losing streak and a 7-game winning streak within the same season. And they enter Sunday's game, the AFC's number 7 seed, and they beat the Saints last weekend, Monday Night Football to be exact, 20-3 behind their defense that had 8 sacks and 2 turnovers, including a pick 6. Miami coming off a short rest while the Titans are coming off an extended rest. They beat the 49ers on Thursday Night Football behind wide receiver A.J. Brown. He had 11 catches for 145 yards and 1 touchdown. Lastly, the Jets welcome in the defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers as quarterback Tom Brady completes his AFC East reunion tour. And last week, the Jets ran for 273 yards. Much different test now in Week 17 as they'll see the NFL's number 3 rush defense coordinated by former Jets head coach Todd Bowles. Tom Brady has a 29-7 record against the Jets, but the Bucs offense is banged up. Chris Godwin and Leonard Fournette both on injured reserve. Mike Evans dealing with an injury, and he was placed on the reserve COVID list earlier this week. Will the Patriots and the Dolphins increase their playoff chances, and will the Jets play spoiler for Tom Brady's return to MetLife Stadium? Kickoff is around the corner.
Don't go away. The guys are back with final thoughts on the matchup with Tampa after this.
Welcome back. Eric Allen with Bart Scott and Leger Dusbo. Bart, it is Jets Buccaneers at MetLife Stadium. Do you know the Buccaneers have never won at the Jets in their history?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how much that
I'm looking
means.
for good omens, man.
I don't know how much that means this week, but I tell you what, it's going to be a tough test. And this really is a measuring stick, right? You know, you can do things against a bad football team in Jacksonville, but, you know, this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is going to force you to perform at a high level and be a high percentage decision maker. And I want Zach Wilson, you know, when the defense is up there, I want him to go look what a pro looks like, what a Hall of Famer looks like, what the GOAT looks like, you know, so he can see how he walks, how his mannerisms is, the confidence that he eludes. And this is a great measuring stick for guys to see how champions look, how champions prepare. This is a championship outfit, the defending champions going for another one. See what it looks like. Soak it in. And you know what? Don't back down. Don't be in awe. I don't want guys in awe of Tom Brady talking about, hey, can I be the first person to ask for his jersey after the game? No, you go and you attack that man. You treat him with the same level of disrespect that you would treat any other opponent walking into MetLife Stadium.
Dudes, I'm feeling it right now from Bart Scott. Disrespect. He's ready for action. Let's go to the other side of the ball, though. Former Jets head coach Todd Bowles leads that Buccaneers defense. He's going to be bringing everybody, isn't he, against the rookie quarterback? The Buccaneers had 7 sacks last week. Will Golston had a career game with 2.5. But why has this Buccaneers defense been so effective the last couple of years?
I mean, this is who Todd Bowles is, right? He's synonymous with bringing pressure play in and play out. Now, they had some injuries earlier in the season, so he went actually a little bit more zone, but now they're starting to get healthier in the back end. Carlton Davis has been back for a while. Jamil Dean missed, I think, 1 or 2 games. He's back. And then Sean Murphy-Bunting is also back at the cornerback position. So now their backs is bringing that pressure. And they brought a lot of pressure versus the Carolina Panthers last week. This will be a big test for this offensive line that has some injuries, the Jets offensive line, and then also for this young quarterback, Zach Wilson, because Todd Bowles is known for bringing that pressure.
Will the Jets make it 8 in a row all-time at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? We're about to find out. Happy New Year. We'll see you on Jets Overtime on all our digital platforms following the game.